I mean, take Warren Buffett, for example. And to be totally frank, I'm not his biggest fan, but he does a lot of capital allocation, and he reads a lot of sort of annual reports of companies and all the accounting, and it's pretty boring, really. And he's trying to figure out does Coke or Pepsi deserve more capital? I mean, it's kind of a boring job, if you ask me.
What do you think of Elon Musk's behavior as a CEO?
Well, I think it has room for improvement. Now, he would say the same thing. I mean, it's just some people have a talent for interesting quotes, and others have a little bit more of a blocker up there that says this can get me in a problem. But he's a remarkable guy. But I just don't see the necessity to communicate. I think I've got 7 tweets because a friend of mine signed me up for it, and she's called me about 100 times saying, can I tweet this or that? And I've said yes to her 7 times, I guess, or something like that. I've never actually written one myself. I don't even know how to do it.
Have you talked to Elon ever?
He joined the Giving Pledge, so once or twice, but that's a lot of years ago. 7 or 8 years ago. He hasn't come to our annual gathering, so I haven't seen him for 7 or 8 years.
Well, there's competitors now ramping up, and as you're familiar with, BYD, which is also on the West Coast, I think they're ramping up production of their electric vehicles. Warren Buffett owns 10% stake in that. Why do you laugh? BYD is trying to compete. Why do you laugh?
Have you seen their car?
I have seen their cars, yes. In fact, at the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, I saw their cars.
Yeah.
Well, they are on a different, tell me why you're laughing. You don't see them at all as a competitor?
No.
Why is that? I mean, they offer a lower price point.
I don't think they have a great product.
Why is that?
I don't think it's particularly attractive. The technology is not very strong. And BYD as a company has pretty severe problems in their home turf in China.
Right.
So I think their focus is, and rightly should be, on making sure they don't die in China.
Okay. What about for you? When are you going to turn a profit on Tesla?
Well, we think probably 2013.
2013. Okay. Gathered ourselves, talked more a bit in the break about BYD, and you make a good point though, and I want you to say this, about BYD. What you're saying is that, even though the cars are going to be priced lower than yours, and they are, they have said that they are a competitor to you.
Yeah.
That what you're saying is that, even if that's the case, that their cars are actually quite expensive for what you're getting. So why do you say that?
Yeah, something that surprised me was that when we priced the components, the various elements of the supply chain of the Model S, we found that China was uncompetitive. This is really surprising. I mean, I thought that we'd be sourcing a lot of components from China.
Right.
Almost none of the components in the Model S are sourced from China. In fact, we find California manufactured articles to be more cost-effective than China.
Why is this?
I don't know. It was a shock to me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you would think that with cheap labor in China, that those parts would be cheaper. Okay. So you have no plans then to source in China in the future.
We're actually agnostic with respect to sourcing components. So we're happy to source components from the United States, Canada, Germany, Japan. And we do source a lot of components in Mexico. We source a lot of components from those countries.
Right.
But surprisingly, almost nothing from China. The Chinese components, remarkably, were more expensive.
But how much? How much more expensive?
On the order of 10% to 20%, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference.
Yeah. Now maybe due to logistics.
Right.
You've got to ship the stuff. It's a lot easier to ship a little iPhone than it is to ship some big, heavy component. That may be a factor.
I think you'll find Snickers on top, and then you got M&Ms. You got 2 types, so they don't combine the peanuts with the other ones. But I think they're number 2 and 4, and Hershey's in there number 3 or something of the sort. Yeah, I can't take them on. I don't think Elon should take them on. They have moats. When you go into a drugstore, 7-Eleven or something, and you say, I would like a Snickers bar, and the owner says, oh, I've got something the Musk bar at 10 cents off the Snickers bar. You say, give me the Snickers. And if he doesn't give you the Snickers, you go across the street and buy the Snickers. Brands are moats, I mean, obviously. And if you try to, this product is selling, to hundreds of millions of people who want Coca-Cola. And if you say, I'll sell you something for 2 cents less, or I've got some celebrity's name on it. They actually, Richard Branson tried Virgin Cola in the United States about 15 or 20 years ago. And a million others have been tried. So I don't really have the same urge to produce automobiles that he apparently has to produce candy. But I don't suggest that he take on Snickers.
Tesla will start to offer insurance for its cars and can price it better than a typical insurance company because of the data it collects from all the vehicles on the road. You've talked about the threat of autonomous vehicles on the insurance business, but what about the threat to Geico of automobile companies themselves getting into the insurance business? And on a very similar topic, Tesla recently announced that they're shifting to an online-only sales model, and several traditional auto dealerships are also reducing their property holdings as car buyers increasingly use smartphones and the internet to shop for cars. What does this portend for Berkshire Hathaway Automotive?
Yeah. Actually, General Motors had a company for a long time called Motors Insurance Company, and various companies have tried it. I would say that the success of the insurance company, of the auto companies getting into the insurance business, are probably about as likely as the success of the insurance companies getting into the auto business. I worry much more about Progressive than all of the auto company possibilities that I could see in terms of getting an insurance business. It's not an easy business at all. And I would bet against any company in the auto business being any kind of an unusual success. The idea of using telematics in terms of studying people's driver's habits, that's spreading quite widely, and it is important to have data on how people drive, how hard they brake, how much they swerve, all kinds of things. So I don't doubt the value of the data, but I don't think that the auto companies will have any advantage to that. I don't think they'll make money in the insurance business. Using the internet to shop for cars is like, using the internet for shopping for everything. It's another competitor, and there's no question that people will look for better ways. Now, the gross margin on new cars is about 6% or thereabouts. So there's not lots of room in the game, but that will be a method, and that will sell some cars. And if there are, it's another competitor. But I don't think it destroys the auto dealer who takes good care of the customers and is there to service the customers. And it's not an overwhelming threat, but it's obviously something that's going to be around and will sell some cars. Charlie?
This week on his Tesla earnings call said the following, quote, "I think moats are lame."
I'm just wondering why that isn't a moat, because, as a long-term investor, I feel like the charging infrastructure you guys have built would take years and millions of dollars for another brand to replicate. So I'm just curious about the strategic thinking behind opening that up versus keeping it closed.
First of all, I think moats are lame. They're like nice and sort of quaint, vestigial way. But like if your only defense against like invading armies is a moat, you will not last long. What matters is the pace of innovation. That is the fundamental determinant of competitiveness. And for any given company, if the rate of innovation, let's say, competitors, maybe they come out with something new every 6 years. We're maybe every 2 to 3 years. So if our rate of innovation is, let's say, twice that of any given competitor, then it is simply, and this is true of generally of companies in any industry. Whichever company has the highest rate of innovation, unless that company is actively killed by its competitors in some way that's nefarious, or shoots itself in the foot, it will at some point exceed those competitors. Like, this was obvious that this would occur with Amazon and Walmart, because Walmart's rate of innovation was negligible, and Amazon's was very high. The outcome was obvious.
So Warren, it seems the world has changed. Business is getting more competitive, pace of innovation, technology is impacting everything. Is Elon right?
Well, the answer to that one, Warren. Elon says a conventional moat is quaint, and that's true of a puddle of water. And he says that the best moat would be to have a big competitive position, and that is also right. You know, it's ridiculous. Warren does not intend to build an actual moat.